This is the single biggest piece of advice that people gave me that I didn't follow up until the very end, and it's the only thing that has worked. And that is to Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Tracy. We do a lot of fitness and lifestyle content here. So, if you want to subscribe, then that'd be dope. But today's video is going to be a NASM-CPT overview, and CPT stands for Certified Personal Trainer. I recently just took my test and passed it. So we are officially certified, and this process has been so long in the making. I think it's been about a year now since I signed up for the course, and I just took my test. So it took me 10 months to take and pass the course. So we're gonna dive into all of that, why it took me so long, why I chose NASM, all my study prep, everything that I wish I had whenever I signed up for the course. So it's more so of like a chit chat type of video. I have my trusty dusty laptop, and then I have hockey here as well. So grab your popcorn, grab your Squishmallow, whatever the case may be, get comfortable, and let's get into it. Okay, y'all, like I said, we are literally sitting back and chilling. I have my laptop here. I have a bunch of questions that you guys asked me, and then just all of my notes here as well. So first and foremost, a question that I got asked was why I chose NASM specifically. So NASM is the National Academy of Sports Medicine, and honestly, it was just the most well-known, most accredited program that I saw. There were also a bunch of different options for other certifications that you can get aside from just the typical CPT one. I chose the guided study, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But other than that, they also had a bunch of different bundles that you can do as well that were already either pre-made, or you can just create your own bundle. And so there were like corrective exercise certifications, nutrition certifications, group fitness, virtual coaching, just a whole bunch of certifications that you can make into your own bundle, which I really liked. But then I also heard a lot of good things about the certification as well, and how they use the optimum performance training model. So it's called the OPT model, where it just breaks down the science of exercising into 5 different stages. And there are 3 different phases as well. I'll attach the picture somewhere up here, but there was a great breakdown of each of those phases within the book, and it just went into detail, and I just really liked that. So because I just heard so many good things about it, in addition to everything I just said, that's why I chose NASM. On that topic, which version did I study? So I studied version 7, which is the most recent version of the NASM-CPT textbook. And I actually did a bundle myself. So on the topic of bundles, there was a bundle going on where you can do the guided study with the virtual coaching specialization and a nutrition coach certification. And all of that was around $1,100. NASM does deals all the freaking time. So I would just keep an eye out if you guys did have a certain specialization or a certain certification in addition to the CPT one in mind. And so the reason why I chose that specific bundle was because I also wanted to get into online coaching as well. So I figured that the virtual coaching specialization would be a good tool to have. But then also, in addition to that, getting the nutrition coach certification was just really important to me, because we live in a world where social media is just it just has a hold on us, right? And there are so many things that can influence either great things or just really bad habits. And I just really want to be able to promote and educate my clients on the science of nutrition and how fueling your foods with, or fueling your body with foods is just going to help you rather than hurt you. So I want to be able to promote a healthier mindset surrounding not only exercise, but also food as well. So that's why I chose that certification. And so I did do monthly payments for around a year. It was around 90 something bucks per month. And I just finished my payments for the entire course. Now let's talk about time frame, okay? Because once you sign up for the actual course, you have 6 months to complete the exam, because that's when it expires. Your girl took 10 months. I took almost double that time, okay? Because look, during that 6-month period, I moved 3 times. And so I set my date initially for my birthday, August 18th. It expired. So I actually had to call NASM and be like, yo, I actually never took this exam. I needed to redeem my voucher that came with my guided study package. So I redeemed the voucher. I set my date for December 31st. I was like, you know what? I'll just finish it by the end of this year. During the 4 or 5 months, ever since August to December, that was me making excuses, because I was just so ridden by my inability to just sit down and study. And I was just going through a lot where I just wasn't retaining the material as I would like. Whenever the new year came, I told myself, dude, I cannot do the same thing I did last year this year. I will set this date. It's January 30th. I did the damn thing. I took it and passed it. Thank the Lord. But yeah, that's all that happened. For the actual exam itself, I had a question about how the proctor setup was like. I actually didn't go in person, so I just did it online because of ease of access. Basically, I didn't really care where I did it, but online was just easier. The website has instructions and a whole PDF on how to sign up for it, what to do on the day of. On the day of, it was really interesting because I've never done an online proctored exam before. If you're currently a student, this would be really familiar to you, but I never had to do that before. So I had this online proctor who basically wanted to see my entire room. So I had to take my laptop, flip it all around, show him all 4 walls. And then he had me get a mirror and like show my floor, show my entire work area. I had to show him my palms, show him my ears so he could see that I wasn't wearing any hearing devices or anything. I couldn't eat, couldn't talk. I could drink water, but he had to make sure that there wasn't a label on the water bottle, but my webcam was on the entire time. He was just watching me like a freaking hawk take my test. But yeah, it was pretty intense. Another question I got was where I got my CPR certification. So NASA makes it super easy. You can actually do your CPR certification online as well. Because of COVID, they aren't doing the live trainings, but I just read the course. Basically, it took me around an hour and a half. Took the test, passed it, yay. It was 25 questions, unlimited attempts to retest, and that was it. All right, now that we have all the technical information aside, let's just get into study tips. So I'm gonna start with what not to do because, like I said, whenever I signed up for this course, like I had already graduated college 3 years ago. Only reason why I say that is because I don't know how to study. I've been out of school for so long that I just completely forgot how to study. I would say don't spend so much time digesting the book because, like I said before, I would spend 30 minutes at a time on one page. On one freaking page, and I am not kidding you guys. It literally would stump me so many times because I would just be stressing about understanding this concept instead of just getting through the book because the material is gonna come back over and over again, and I just didn't realize that. And so every single time I would get stuck, I would just really overthink things instead of utilizing my resources. I was like, am I capable of doing this? Can I actually do this? And that mindset paralyzed me so much to where I was like, you know what? I have 3 months, I have 2 months, I have a month, I'll be good. I was not good. I was not good. So do not set yourself up for failure by telling yourself that you have X amount of months left. Set that freaking exam date and abide by it. Lastly, don't sign up for the course if you have shit going on. I would say that if you're moving, if you're freaking planning a wedding, if you're about to go into labor and have a baby or whatever the case may be, if you're about to graduate college and you have so many exams and all that stuff going on, don't take the course. Just wait until after that. And if you have time after that, then go ahead and do it. There's never going to be a perfect time for you to start, but if you know that you have all these things in life going on that are life-changing, aka the examples that I just mentioned, then maybe wait until those life things are over and you have more time to dive into things like this, and then sign up for the course. All right, now let's talk about what to do. This is the single biggest piece of advice that people gave me that I didn't follow up until the very end, and it's the only thing that has worked. And that is to set a freaking date. I said that I was gonna take it by August 18th, December 31st, and I never did it. Why? Because I didn't actually put that date inside the proctoring software. And it's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to actually put that date down in the system and have it set in stone. It inherently makes you accountable for doing it by that date because you know that it's coming. You have an actual deadline that you cannot back down from. I mean, you can, but I'm not gonna go back and cancel that date and set up another date if I had already put that date in there to begin with. Secondly, I would say take the end of chapter quizzes and the end of section exams over and over again. It just basically recycles questions from the chapter so that way you can have a variety of different questions that really help you understand the material a little bit more. I didn't move on from a section until I got at least a 90 on these section exams. And I think that helped me pass the actual CPT exam a lot because I was forced to revisit this material that I didn't understand before. This is all for my visual learners. I would suggest watching YouTube videos for any concepts that you don't understand, and also watch the end of chapter videos as well. Also, I would recommend to study at a freaking Starbucks, a coffee shop, or wherever away from home, especially for those of y'all who are either working from home or you're just at home a lot. I find that even though my home is a place for me to relax, it's not a place for me to just really buckle down and study. If I'm at an area that a lot of other people are, like at a library or at a coffee shop where other people are there to study or work or wherever, it just kind of gets my mind right and puts me in an environment where other people are doing the same thing. And then I would also suggest to join Facebook groups, because there are a ton of different Facebook groups where people are always just talking about the course, the exam, what they found in their exam, and people do study sessions all the time. So it's a great resource for you to have. And one last question I had was, how did I balance studying? During the last couple weeks leading up to my exam, I just really had to buckle down and use my planner to just put down exactly how long I was going to study for, what days I was going to study. I had to set deadlines, like by X date, I'll finish XYZ chapter. I used a lot of Pomodoros, and there's this YouTube channel called Bao in Tokyo. It's ABAO in Tokyo. And what he does is called a Pomodoro, where he basically has lo-fi music playing the whole time. Let's say you're studying for 2 hours. A Pomodoro is studying for 25 minutes with a 5-minute break, which equals 30 minutes. So if you're doing a 2-hour session, it would be 4 Pomodoros. And I feel like that concept has really helped me buckle down and study, because it's like, okay, I study for 25 minutes and I have a 5-minute break. Whereas before, I would just put lo-fi music on and just have it playing the entire time without really realizing how long I was studying for. And I didn't have a set break for myself. So utilizing something like a Pomodoro, where he had a timer, stopwatches, all these things, was really, really helpful for me. On the topic of exam prep, let's dive into that. So I took the practice exam around 10 to 15 times. There are 100 questions, and I took that whole 10 to 15 times. It gives you a 2-hour time limit to complete the exam, because it tries to mirror the actual exam itself, but it actually only took me around 45 minutes for every single attempt. Every single day leading up to the exam, I took the test at least 2 to 3 times. The first, I would say 2 days, I just took the exam over and over and over again and took my time with it rather than doing any type of speed rounds. The third day, I decided to go back and take any incorrect questions that I had, because you can review all your answers. So I took all of the incorrect answers and just divided it up into different Word documents. And so there are 6 sections. So I would have 6 documents. And by that point, I just basically knew which questions belonged in which section. So every single incorrect question I had, I would just categorize it in that specific section. So that way I could go back and see which sections I struggled with the most. And then I would study that section and those concepts. Here's the thing, NASM has this app called the NASM Edge Trainer app, where it has a prep section as well. So everything that I did, they basically already had that in an app, but I didn't realize that that was a thing leading up to the exam until like 2 days before the exam. So by that point, I already had my established little Word documents. So I just used that. I got asked advice on what to study. So according to YouTube, where there are different trainers who just kind of go through the exam and tell you what is on the exam from what they've seen, I heard that a lot of overactive, underactive muscles were on the exam, motivational interviewing, OPT model. So I focused on those sections a lot. It was literally nothing like that. Like, everybody will say this, it was nothing like what people were saying at all. And I don't say this to discourage you guys, because what got me to pass the exam was actually just understanding the concept and reading the question a little bit more. And I'll get into that later, but y'all, this is how I took it. And this is what I really believe got me to pass, especially if you're somebody who has test anxiety. So I ran through the test once, and whichever question took me more than 10 seconds, I just passed it. I just could not get myself to sit there and just think about this question, knowing that the time was ticking down and I had so many questions left. After I did the run through the first time around, I went back and answered all of the questions that I skipped. And I spent a little bit more time on those just to understand it a little bit more. And by the end of that, I had around 5 questions left that just really, really got me stumped. After that, I just did my breathing exercises. I literally breathed. I looked at the time, realized that I had an hour and 15 left. Like I said, it takes me around 45 minutes to take the exam. So I went through the entire exam again, but this time I feel like I was just so much more focused. My mind was a lot more clear. And I just realized that I just had to answer the questions in front of me, because a lot of the times with the test, they trick you with the wording, but it's really easy to kind of narrow down. All right, so we have 4 answers. These 2 are obviously wrong. And so it's either this one or this one. And so after that, I just kind of did process of elimination, just thought about the question, and I was like, oh, okay, this is what it's asking. With that being said, the question I got asked the most was, what were the repeated topics on the exam? A lot of overactive and underactive muscle questions were on there, but the wording was so different. I had a lot of cue questions. Like if a client were to do a specific exercise, what audible cue would you give to them? A lot of motivational interviewing, stages of change, and oh my God, so many flexibility questions. And then there were also a lot of speed, agility, and quickness, so SAQ questions surrounding programming, frequency, rep counts, when to program flexibility for clients, just a lot of those. And then other than that, it was just 1 to 2 questions about everything else. All right, guys, with that being said, those are all of my tips. I wanted to give a couple of overall thoughts about everything because this was a lot of information. And looking back, I know that if I saw a video like this, it would make me pretty overwhelmed. And I don't mean to tell you guys this to make you guys overwhelmed at all. I'm hoping more so that it gives y'all a structure of how to study and to just not freak out so much about it, because I know that I freaked out a lot about this exam too. I just thought about it as an ends to a means type of situation, because for those of you guys who are thinking about personal training as a career choice that's completely different than what you went to school for, I feel like there can be a lot of pressure on you to pass this exam and understand everything and all of that, or else you suck. And that's not the case. So I would say my biggest thing that helped me was to keep a positive mindset and to talk about passing this exam as if it already happened, which is why on my Instagram, if you guys follow my Instagram, I talk a lot about whenever I pass the test. I talk about manifestation all the time, and I really do think that by speaking to myself positively and talking about this as if it already happened really helped me gain the confidence to take and pass the exam. I would also suggest leaning on your support groups a lot, and without my friends just kind of encouraging me to do this, I think I would struggle a lot without having my support groups there for me. So definitely lean on your friends. Don't be scared to be vulnerable. Try to give yourself some grace, like be firm with yourself, but don't be scared to say, you know what, I'm having a freaking hard time, and adjust to what's gonna be the best studying environment for you, and you're gonna be just fine. With that being said, that is the end of this video, guys. If you stayed until the end, and I so appreciate you. If you have any other questions, then please pop them down below. If you are a CPT yourself and you have any study tips, then put those down below. I think everybody would appreciate that as well. But stay tuned for my Honor Active review coming next week, actually, because my package is coming in on Monday. But super excited to put out more videos for you. Hockey and I say thank you for being here. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like, comment, share, all of that. And I will see you guys so soon. So bye.